Revan's influence on the evolution of the Sith and the broader understanding of the Force is unparalleled, cementing Revan as one of the most important figures in all of the Star Wars mythology. His concept of power, balance, and control directly laid the groundwork for what would become the Rule of Two. As a Dark Lord of the Sith, Revan recognized the inherent flaws in the chaotic infighting of the Sith Order, where ambition and treachery weakened it from within. While he did not formalize the Rule of Two, his understanding of the importance of singular leadership and focused apprenticeship influenced the philosophy that Darth Bane would later codify. Revan believed that concentrated power, coupled with loyalty between a master and apprentice, could amplify the Sith's ability to achieve their goals, avoiding the self-destructive tendencies of previous empires. This strategic insight demonstrated not only Revan's profound understanding of the dark side, but his unmatched ability to adapt and innovate. Beyond his contributions to the Sith, Revan's holistic view on the Force positioned him as the architect of how future generations would perceive its true nature. Revan's journey through both light and dark sides gave him a rare understanding of the Force as a unified whole rather than a binary struggle. By embracing compassion and strength, love and power, Revan became the first to truly exemplify balance. His philosophies influenced not only the Sith, but also the Jedi Order, whose rigid dogma would later be challenged by figures such as Luke Skywalker. In many ways, Revan's brilliance lay not just in his Force abilities, but in the sharpness of his mind, his tactical genius, his capacity for innovation, and ability to transcend traditional teachings. This made him the mastermind of galactic history, shaping the very way the Force was understood for millennia. Revan's legacy is not just that of what he accomplished, but in how he redefined the very foundation of the Force and how it was viewed by the following generations. Even after the brutal wars that had scarred the galaxy, the Jedi Order could not deny the unparalleled brilliance of Revan. His genius, his mastery of the Force, and his pivotal role in ending the war placed him in a unique paradoxical position within the Jedi collective, especially in their histories. While Revan was revered as a hero who had saved countless lives, they also feared him as a figure who had walked the dangerous line between the light and the dark and failed. Unlike any other Sith of his era, Revan inspired both awe and terror among the Jedi. The Jedi respected his accomplishments, but saw him as a cautionary tale, someone whose ambition and willingness to embrace the dark side had nearly doomed not only him, but the entire galaxy. Revan's ability to challenge their teachings and still emerge as a figure of immense power and insight, though, left the Jedi Order ultimately conflicted about him, forcing them to honor his contributions, while quietly dreading the legacy that he left behind. This tension underscored the impact of Revan's brilliance, showing that even his greatest adversaries could not ignore the profound influence that he had on their philosophy and on the galaxy. But beyond the Jedi and Sith of his era, we want to talk about how Revan influenced Luke Skywalker, and how in many ways, Revan was the Luke before Luke. Revan represents a brief glimpse into the boundless potential of a Force wielder who achieves true understanding. Revan was a visionary, capable of perceiving the Force in its entirety: light and dark, compassion and power, unity and duality. What makes Revan extraordinary is not simply his mastery of Force techniques or combat, but his ability to think beyond the established limits of the Jedi and the Sith. Revan's genius was a reflection of what may be possible if a single individual could fully transcend the binary nature of the Force, wield it with both clarity and balance. Revan's journey suggests that the Force is not a tool for power or peace, but is rather an endless reservoir of potential for those that understand it. Revan's life, though fragmented with darkness and redemption, offers a fleeting vision of what ultimate mastery of the Force looks like and what could be achieved. If Revan had never been dominated by the dark side or had his identity fractured, the limits of his potential would have been unimaginable. Revan's fall to the dark side, while it ultimately deepened his understanding of the Force, it also split his focus. It kept him from achieving the harmony that he had so briefly glimpsed later in life. The burden of his fragmented identity, the Sith Lord who sought domination, the Jedi who sought peace, meant that during this time, Revan was trying to reconcile these two sides rather than fully transcending them. Had Revan been able to bypass this internal struggle, his potential would have been unparalleled, rivaling or even surpassing the greatest wielders of the Force. Revan's fragmented legacy leaves fans wondering, what heights could he have reached if his brilliance was not hampered by the limitations of his era or the scars of his own choices? Revan's story serves as both an inspiration and caution. Revan and Luke Skywalker share a unique legacy, as the two of them are some of the most powerful Force wielders in galactic history, unified by their unparalleled understanding of the Force. Both transcended the rigid teachings of their respective Jedi eras, embracing attachment, love, balance, achieving extraordinary levels of mastery. Revan's revolutionary discoveries during the Mandalorian Wars would lay the groundwork for a philosophy that Luke Skywalker would fully realize, enabling him to reforge the Jedi Order, cementing his place as the most powerful mortal force wielder ever. Despite the millennia between Revan and Luke, they would have been kindred spirits, unified by their shared vision, unique vision of the Force. Revan and Luke achieved their incredible power by challenging the Jedi. For Luke, this was rejecting the strict attachment of the old Jedi Order in favor of compassion, an attachment-driven approach to the Force. For Revan, this discovery came during the Mandalorian Wars, where his love for the Republic and his comrades allowed him to harness the Force in ways that neither a Jedi nor Sith could explain. The righteous attachment became the cornerstone of both of their philosophies, showing that love and compassion could elevate one's connection to the Force and that it did not weaken it. Revan's ability to embrace both the light and the dark side was another key to his strength, a path that Luke would later follow. Revan's time as a Sith Lord granted him a deep understanding of the dark side's power, but Revan's redemption allowed him to reconnect with the light side's clarity and compassion. Similarly, Luke forged his own balance, rejecting both the strict ideals of the old Jedi and the corruption of the Sith. Both men saw the Force as a unified whole rather than a binary system, unlocking a deep connection to its limitless potential. Their shared perspective transcended traditional teachings and allowed them to achieve a power that both balanced and made them strong to their core, but was also unrivaled by those that had a lesser view. Their shared tactical brilliance also set them apart, being wartime Jedi and wartime leaders. Their attachment and love played a central role in their mastery. Both men rejected the idea that attachment led to the dark side, instead discovering that love, when used compassionately, could serve as a pathway to unimaginable power, essentially becoming the ultimate version of the Jedi, especially when they fought to protect the galaxy. Similarly, Luke's love for his friends and his father Anakin not only redeemed Vader, but cemented his role as a beacon of hope and balance. Luke and Revan demonstrated that attachment, when guided by righteous hands, could be a source of strength and was not a source of weakness. This is what made them so unnaturally powerful for their era, beyond their special bloodline. The circumstances of the lives also highlighted a difference between the two of them though. Unlike Luke Skywalker, who operated as the sole steward and Jedi Master of the Order, free from the constraints of any wider institution, Revan was a part of both the Jedi and Sith orders, bound by their structure and expectations. Luke had the freedom to rebuild the Jedi from the ground up. Revan was unable to restructure or reform the Jedi due to his mistrust of the Council and the limitations of his era. This fundamental difference allowed Luke to realize a vision that Revan could only briefly glimpse, establishing a new order rooted in balance and love, an unparalleled, unimaginable power. Power that came to them quite naturally, something that scared Jedi and Sith alike. Revan's brilliance and insight was early for his time, far too early, and the galaxy was not ready to accept his revolutionary ideas. He lived in an era where the Jedi Council clung to outdated dogma, and the Sith relied solely on domination and power. Revan's understanding of the Force could not reshape these old institutions. This left him isolated in his pursuit of balance. But Luke, though, by contrast, was the sole Jedi of his era, free to redefine the Order's principles as its sole master. This independence gave Luke the ability to achieve what Revan could not, a restructured Jedi Order that embraced love, attachment, and balance. In the end, Revan and Luke would have been kindred spirits, sharing a vision of the Force as a unified whole, transcending the limitations of the light and dark, Jedi or Sith. They both valued compassion and had a purity in how they viewed the Force, as a master of balance. Though they were separated by 1,000 years and circumstances, their philosophies were remarkably aligned, and both proved that the Force's true potential lay in embracing all of its aspects and control. Together, their legacies illuminate the path to ultimate harmony, showing that it is through love, understanding, and balance that true power is achieved in the Force. And that is why Revan and Luke Skywalker are two of the most similar and two of the greatest characters in all of the Star Wars mythos. But as always, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this look into Revan and Luke. And of the two of them, who do you believe was more enlightened by the Force? As always, my friends, thank you so much for visiting the archives today, and may the Force be with you.